So at the end of Greenleaf, I was like, Fernando? What is Fernando doing here? Then I remembered he's actually the one who gave Carissa the information about the will that she was using against Jacob. But wait, what happened to Darius? I felt like Grace walking up to his home it felt so sinister. I was like, something bad is about to happen. Y'all set it up this way. And then he didn't answer. And then Fernando shows up and we're like, wait, but what really happened to Darius? He's not like dead, is he? I mean, what could have stopped him from going home between the time he told Grace, meet him at his home? Whew, was a good episode. Welcome to Spirit Soul Sense, Information for Your Soul. I am Shareece. And Greenleaf, I think there are only 8 episodes in this season, so we are actually winding down. I am hoping that we get a neat little bow at the very end of, episode 8 that gives us all the information we need about all the plot holes. I still wish, but I know at this point it wouldn't make sense for Charity's husband to be back in any storyline. Like, that's over and done with. It was really about Charity's growth. But AJ seems to be doing pretty well. Sophia and Zora, they seem to be doing pretty well. Carissa and Jacob are actually getting a divorce, and I think they're going to end up in a place of peace. Like, I don't think they should be together anymore. I think they learned the things that they needed from each other. I really enjoyed Carissa saying that, she would wouldn't fight having shared custody. I think Jacob has proven himself to be a really great father. So yeah, I'm glad she reached that conclusion. Noah and Grace don't seem to be developing into a thing, despite what AJ was, joking about. Grace and Darius, well, he might be dead, so I think Grace is thinking about what it is that she really wants in the end. May and the bishop still doing their thing. Are we going to see a new church at the end of this? So in the beginning of this episode, I really thought that Bishop already had his physical. I am very concerned that he kind of blew it off for wanting to go meet with whoever the developer or whatever, meeting things up to code at the new church. Because there's so few episodes left, I'm really not sure what is going to happen with, his cognitive functioning, what is really going to happen there. The interaction that he had with Rochelle at the bar / new church was so dark. And I feel like Rochelle is so deep in pain and hurt and wanting to hurt Bishop and wishing, awful things on him, that it really doesn't feel right for them to give the church to Tara. Because it just seems like there's a whole plot. Although I really liked when Tara said, if this is going to be a fight, then maybe it's not what God had for us. Maybe that's not the way I'm supposed to get the ideas that I have out. I was sort of really confused about Phil's father, Mr. Shabazz, flying in. Why the man who is hanging up on everyone decided to come? That doesn't make any sense. I feel like there's something that happened in between there that made him change his mind about wanting to help. So he comes, they convince him to talk to Phil. Phil ends with, I never want to see you again, and calls him Yusef, instead of father. The whole plot about Bob Whitmore, who we have not even seen. This whole plot about Bob Whitmore wanting to be senator and him, gouging poor black families out of their homes. It's really wild. I definitely think it's true. I don't think that's a made up part of it. It just didn't seem like the information was shared in the best way. I wish Judy wasn't there. I'm like, Judy, why are you here? Why are you so intent on being partnered with a man who doesn't want you? That really doesn't seem godly, at all. But at the end of the episode, Darius said he had someone who would confirm the information that Mr. Shabazz said. We don't know who that is. We don't know if Darius is alive. I don't think he's dead. But it was just really sort of messy in a way that, it was drama filled, but I didn't think it needed to be so messy. Maybe it was the way Like maybe Phil needed to know his father was coming and needed to have like emotions about, no, I don't want to see him. Okay, fine, I'll see him. So that he was in a place where he could, accept some of the information. I think it was so easy after not seeing his father for decades, his father leaving the family, that's what he said, to then come with this information to crush the dreams that Phil finally feels like he's realizing, even though they're misguided, they're really not God-led, but it's what he really, really wants right now. So I just thought the whole handling of that was just not the best. When Jacob was so calm talking to Zora, I think Carissa was feeling like this is exactly the kind of assertion that I've wanted from you all these years. But I think she's finally in the role where she's allowing him to do that because she's so rah, rah, rah. Carissa is so rah, 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 which is fine. It just means that she's just not the best partnered with Jacob. But, Zora wanting to run away from her problems, take a flight to New York without really any plan because she's, feeling really hurt. Lots of people are divorced. Lots of children have parents who are divorced. It's definitely something that's really stressful. But sort of like in the scene, after May shares her affair and Grace is the product of this affair, which was so like a bomb. And then she just walked away and said dinner. The scene where the three siblings are together, and they're joking, and they're processing everything that's happening. And Charity is talking about like all the perfectionism. The perfectionism has seeped through like the whole family. Everything starts with the head. So May and the bishop acting as if everything has been okay, been perfect, that they've been the most godly, the most holy. Like when Bishop went off on May for like calling him out on not being holy. I am so glad that they're in the position now where they are truth tellers. They are radical truth tellers, and the truth is uncomfortable, but the truth will set you free. So I was very glad it happened. But you got to see, and this is not something that's unique to, people who grew up in the church or, first families. This is something that a lot of people can experience. I've experienced myself, like this wanting to be perfect, this wanting to be good enough, this wanting to be like held on a pedestal, exceptional. And they are all seeing that we all fall short of the glory of God, and it's okay. Like it's really okay. But I know like Zora's parents breaking up, it hits a little bit differently when you're part of like a very Christian church that has put like all of this emphasis on marriage and God and not making mistakes or not sinning. And then you have to like figure out, well, what does that mean for me? What am I going to do now? And is my marriage then going to end in divorce? Like all these things that I'm sure Zora was thinking about, being very hurt, knowing that there were some problems in her parents' marriage, but like maybe not thinking that they would end like this, especially when you think about, God can heal and make things work. But sometimes things don't really work. And sometimes you've learned everything you've learned from a person and it's time to move on. So Carissa moving away with little Winky makes sense. It feels right. It feels like this is exactly what, Carissa and Jacob need at this point in their marriage. It's ending. So they need like separation. Since Bishop and May, I think, have been working really hard to be great, positive, truth-telling leaders of their family, everyone's life is sort of falling into alignment, into balance. And I'm really, really happy. The energy of this season is just so much lighter than the energy of last season, when all I kept saying was, stop fighting for the church. Stop fighting for the church. Let it go. I feel like they've let it go. And I really feel like they have tuned in to God, to what God wants for the family, instead of just thinking about what they want for themselves. I really enjoyed me talking about all the details around how they got the house. And maybe they don't have to give up the house. I don't really want them to give up the house. But maybe they do need to consider different ways of like reparative justice so that Tara and her family, despite Rochelle being so evil, so negative, that maybe there is some giving back to do. Which makes me think about, is Basie really dead? Or is he gonna pop up? We have like, maybe we have 2 more episodes. I'm hoping it's like 10 episodes, but we will see. Another really good episode of Greenleaf. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching.